Welcome to our media channel. Here we try to share wisdom in detail, in depth. If you feel some of the discussions to be inaccessible or unfamiliar, we invite you to go over to the Keshava Swami YouTube channel where you'll find much more universal wisdom. We also invite you to join our Wisdom That Breeds community, where we're gathering individuals who want to make the world a more beautiful place by sharing wisdom. Srila Prabhupada gave us so many books, and we read these books and we get so much knowledge. But the question remains as to how much of the knowledge that we've read in the books, how much of the knowledge that we hear in classes, how much of the knowledge that we also tell other people have we actually realized ourselves? How much of that knowledge has actually gone deep within our own hearts? What is the difference between someone who has book knowledge, theoretical knowledge, and someone who actually understands it in their heart? And if I were to ask you the question, what is the symptom by which you would be able to identify someone who has actually realized the knowledge? If I was to ask you that question, would any of you want to offer any answer? What is the symptom of someone who has truly understood the knowledge that Krishna is trying to communicate to us? How would you be able to tell that this person has actually understood it? Yes?
They will be extremely blissful.
They'll be happy. Hare Krishna. Yes, you'll be able to see in their character, in the way they carry themselves, that there'll be no lamentation. One Srila Prabhupada said, if you are miserable, then it means you are in Maya. So that's a good measure. Susukam kartum avyayam. There must be a great happiness in someone who has understood. Anything else? Just to say on that one, but sometimes that doesn't always mean they're smiling and they're laughing. One time Srila Prabhupada, I don't know how many of you have seen his passport photo, but one devotee saw Prabhupada's passport photo and he said, Prabhupada, you look very sad in that photo. Prabhupada said, that was the most ecstatic moment of my life. Because when I was getting my passport photo done, I was fulfilling the order of my spiritual master. He said, you can't always understand from the external how blissful someone is inside. Anything else? How would you know someone has actually understood? What will be the symptom of someone who really knows?
They're very humble.
They're very humble, yeah. You can't be proud and at the same time be a realized devotee. Humility, the ability to always place yourself in a lower position, no matter how exalted you are. That is the sign of someone who has actually understood. Good. Anything else? But sometimes humility may not also be able to be seen. Have you noticed how sometimes some of the most humble people are also very, very bold? Prabhupada went out, he said, I don't discriminate, I criticize everyone equally. So Prabhupada was sometimes strong, he was sometimes heavy, he was sometimes, harder than a thunderbolt. So how would you be able to really, sometimes the humility you cannot always see, sometimes like the bliss you can not always see. So how would you really know? Anyone else?
His daily habits.
His daily habits. And why his daily habits?
Like what time he wakes up and like
Okay. It's Miss Mangalarti. So yeah, the way they function, their daily habits, how they live in Krishna consciousness, how everything in their life is connected to Krishna. I'll give you 3 things that are said in Shastra about how you actually understand one is actually has understood the knowledge deep within their heart. And it's good for us to do some reflection ourselves. The first characteristic of someone who has actually understood is given by Krishna in the Gita, when Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Krishna says, if one is a Buddha means an intelligent person. If one has actually understood the knowledge, how will you be able to recognize? Iti matva bhajante mam. They're always engaged in service. One whose life is full of devotional service, one who looks for every opportunity they can to serve, one who feels without service my life has no meaning, one who is always looking for opportunities to expand their devotional service, you can understand this person has understood. But if someone can quote 1008 shlokas but then they don't turn up to do anything practical for Krishna, then you may suspect whether they have actually understood the knowledge. So the first sign of someone who actually understands is seva. Their life is about service. The second characteristic of someone who's actually understood, Krishna says in Gita, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Krishna says, Jnanavan, if they're actually a possessor of Jnana, then what will be the characteristic? Prapadyante. They're surrendered. Sharanam, Sharanagati. They're ready to go with Krishna's plan. Whatever happens to them, whatever situations they encounter, whatever fortunes come in their life, they never get frustrated, they never resist, they fully accept, they're fully surrendered, they're fully synchronized with Krishna's plan. And therefore, if Krishna takes everything away, no problem. And if Krishna gives them everything, no problem. Yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampato mat prana nathastu sa eva na paraha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Krishna may treat me roughly sometimes. Krishna can also be a little rough. He definitely shakes things up sometimes. If you're looking for a peaceful life, Krishna's not the one. Because Krishna, he always shakes it up. But the one who has knowledge, they have so much faith in Krishna, they have so much conviction that Krishna's hand is behind everything, that there's a natural surrender, there's a natural ability to just go with the flow of life. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Like, imagine if I asked you in this room, is there anyone in this room who wouldn't change one thing in their life? You may be struggling. You may say 80% all right, but there's a few things I'd like to change around, you know. But the surrendered devotee knows, no, it's all perfect. Whatever Krishna's arranged for me, however Krishna has made it work, perfect. So how do you know you actually know? Saranam, Saranagati. Are you surrendered? Then the knowledgeable devotee is truly knowledgeable. And the third and final way by which you can understand one is knowledgeable, in the Bhagavatam it's mentioned, Krishna Varnam Tvisa Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagye Sankirtaner Prayer Yajantihi Sumedhasha. Sumedhasha means one who is very, very intelligent. So in this verse, 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, is mentioned that if one is very, very intelligent, what will they be doing all the time? Sankirtan. They will always be utilizing the opportunity to either chant Krishna's names or glorify Krishna to others. Always talking about Krishna. Right? Then you can understand, someone has understood. If one knows so many shlokas but they have no taste for the holy name, they have no surrender to the holy name, then you can understood they haven't understood. Because one who is truly knowledgeable, Sumedasha, they will realize, Kalo nasteva, nasteva, there's no other way. I have to surrender to the holy name. And they develop such a deep connection with the holy name. So, Sankirtan. So if you want to know who really knows, it's not the number of shlokas, it's not how well they can speak and give a class, it's not by any measure apart from Seva, Sharanagati and Sankirtan. If you come across a person whose life is filled with service, who is able to fully embrace Krishna's plan, whatever may come in their life, and who fully dedicates themselves to chanting the holy name and glorifying Krishna, you can understand this is a very advanced devotee. And then we have to then look within our own hearts and we have to say, how much do I have these things? How much have I filled my life with service? How much am I daily grateful to Krishna for all the amazing arrangements that He's made that I'm fully surrendered to? And how much is the holy name the center of my life? Simple. So this is real knowledge. And therefore Srila Prabhupada, he was not so impressed by just those who were scholarly. Srila Prabhupada wasn't just impressed by those who knew book knowledge, but Srila Prabhupada would look and see who had these three things and then appreciated them for that. So, the other thing to realize is that it also works the other way around. Not only are Seva, Sharanagati and Sankirtan symptoms of someone who really knows, but if you do these three things, then what will happen is the knowledge will also go deeper. So even if you don't have these three things naturally, but you try to do them, then what will happen is the knowledge will go deeper within. And therefore, every single year for 1 month, in the Krishna consciousness movement, we have a marathon. To be honest, I never liked marathons. Too tiring. But we have a marathon, but a different type of marathon. What we try to do is we try to go everywhere. We try to reach out. We try to go to places where otherwise spiritual knowledge wouldn't reach. And we try to connect people with Srila Prabhupada's books. And we call this Sankirtan. And sometimes some people have argued, how is this Sankirtan? Sankirtan means pick up a mridanga, take some kartals and chant Krishna's names. How is standing on a street, giving someone a book, Sankirtan? And Srila Prabhupada said, no, it is. Because Sankirtan means the process by which Krishna's glories are declared to the world. And Prabhupada said, if you chant the holy name and sing, it's very nice, but it only goes so far. But the moment you give out knowledge of Krishna in the form of books, then that knowledge can go much further. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, distributing knowledge and spiritual literature is a brihat mridanga. the great Mridanga, which declares spiritual knowledge in a much wider way. So every year we go out and it's amazing, but it's not easy. If you all take up the challenge to come to Birmingham tomorrow, amidst everything else that's happening in the bull ring, and it really is a bull ring, literally. But to say there are many other faith groups there who come equipped with louder sound systems than us, and there are other stalls there selling all kinds of, let's just say, questionable items. There's all kinds of nefarious activities going on, maybe people who aren't completely fully in line with the law. And in the midst of all the craziness going on, enter the Hare Krishnas. To somehow reach out to the people and connect with them. And it's not easy. If I'm very honest with you, when I joined the Hare Krishna movement, they said everyone goes out on book distribution. I said everyone except me. I don't go out. That's not me. I'm an introvert. I'm shy. And these people are busy. And I don't go and stop people in their busy lives and just like trying to start speaking to them. And they said, no, just tell, don't worry, just tell them. We don't want to take your time. We don't want to take your money. I said, we do want to take their time and we do want their money. You may have the experience sometimes that those things in your life which you hated in the beginning, you ended up liking very much later on. For me, tomato ketchup was a prime example. I used to hate it. Now I like it. Now I don't have it so much. So over the years, I've actually found this activity of going out and connecting people with Srila Prabhupada's books to be something extremely magical, extremely incredible. People's lives change. Our life changes. Krishna becomes very, very attentive. Krishna becomes very, very attracted when he sees that someone goes out of their way, comes out of the comfort zone to try to share with others. You see, I tell people that Sankirtan or going out on book distribution is the school of life. Yeah, we all went to school and we learned certain things, but there's certain things you learn on book distribution that you don't learn in school. It's a very, very educational and spiritually edifying experience. The first thing that happens when you go out on book distribution is you learn how to communicate with people. Nowadays people don't know how to communicate. People don't know how to have a conversation. People don't know how to connect with other people. But when you go out on book distribution, you learn the beautiful art of how to actually communicate with people. You learn how to talk to people from all different kinds of backgrounds. You learn to be able to, when you meet someone, immediately understand what are their needs, what are their interests, what is on their mind, what are their reservations. When you go out and you communicate with people, you'll be able to understand how to answer questions, how to debate, how to present spiritual knowledge in a way that's attractive and inspiring for people. When you go out and you do book distribution, you learn how to actually inspire through your words. And if you learn how to communicate powerfully with other people, know that everything in your life will flourish. Because all relationships in your life require communication, isn't it? And if you want to know the best training ground for learning how to communicate is book distribution. Because every day you speak to 200-300 people from every imaginable background, and you have to connect with them in a moment of seconds. And when you learn that art of how to communicate with them, what you'll find is in all your other relationships, you'll become much more capable of deeply understanding someone and conveying a message. So it's a great art. You learn how to reach someone. Yeah, once I was on book distribution in Southampton, and you know, like every street is configured in a different way. And in Southampton, there are benches. So when you do book distribution, it's like you have an audience watching you. So like, because all the benches are there and then the street's there, so you're distributing books in front of an audience. So when it's going well, it's very nice because they're inspired, you're inspired. It's like the crowd are cheering. But when you're not doing well, it's a little like unnerving because you're just like, no one's stopping. And then these people are all looking at you thinking, who is this person? What are they doing? So I was one day in Southampton and nobody was stopping for like 3 hours. And it was and all these people were watching me thinking like, who is this loser? You know, this guy's a complete loser. He just like... And then one of these men on the bench, he called me over. He said, come over, come over. So I thought, oh, Krishna, finally, someone that's interested. So he called me over and he said, what's this all about? So I said, we're monks, we're giving out books. He said, this is a load of rubbish. I said, oh no, the terrible day can... He said, you don't actually believe in all this stuff, do you? I said, of course I believe in this stuff. I'm not going to be standing out here just, you know. He said, no, this is all wrong. You're wasting your time. I thought, oh, Krishna, the terrible day continues. So then I started walking off and he said, but you know one thing? You're doing it all wrong. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you don't know how to communicate with people. I was thinking, oh my God, like he's like rubbing the salt into the wound, like it's going from bad to worse. So I looked at him and said, why don't you teach me then? He said, all right, then I'll teach you. So he said, come over. So then I thought, anyway, it can't get much worse than what it already is. So he said, look, you're doing it all wrong. You don't go from the front, go from the side. You know, don't try and shake their hand. Just be respectful. You know, you're being too forceful. Anyway, he gave me like 108 tips. He says, now get out there and follow my advice. So then I went out and I thought, anyway, let's try what he's saying. So I started doing it. And lo and behold, the first person I tried to stop actually stopped. I was so stunned that I just didn't even know what to say to him, and he walked off. This guy on the side goes, what are you doing? He stopped. Tell him what you're doing. I was so stunned. He goes, okay, come on, try again. Next person stopped, took a book. Next person after that, the whole energy changed. I started doing what he was saying and I connected, and everyone was taking books, and you know, he was at the side, and every time someone would take a book, but yeah, go for it. He was like really into it. So for 1 hour, he was in complete ecstasy watching me. I was in complete ecstasy giving out the books, and then he called me over again. He goes, what are these books about? And then I explained what the books were, and then again in a bit more depth. And he said, hey, maybe I should take one, you know, maybe I should take one. So it was very nice, you know, like when you're on book distribution, everyone gets involved. But yeah, this is the first thing. You learn how to communicate with people. It's a very powerful life skill. So the first thing I tell people is when you do book distribution, you learn this art of communication. The second thing that you learn on book distribution is you don't just learn how to communicate, but you learn how to be confident. You know, in life, one of the biggest problems we have is we don't have confidence in ourselves. You can have all the abilities, all the knowledge, you can have all the opportunities, but if you don't have confidence in yourself, you can't achieve anything in life. But one thing I realized on book distribution was it helped me to develop so much confidence. Because on book distribution, one thing becomes very apparent very, very quickly, which is that Krishna is right behind you. In my life, I was able to do many, many different services, able to go to dhams, able to serve the deities, able to do so many amazing things by Krishna's mercy. But I have to say, to this day, I have not done any activity in which I've felt more of Krishna's presence than while out on book distribution. Because Krishna just becomes so active. Krishna just reciprocates with you. You can talk to Krishna. You can feel how he's helping you. And then you just develop that confidence that anything's possible. If you think about book distribution, all the odds are against you. Because one thing is that people don't want to stop. Then second thing is that you're a religious person, so people are even more skeptical. Then third thing is you're trying to sell a book. I mean, most people don't read nowadays. And from a material point of view, there's no reason why someone should take a book from you, from a material point of view. But from the spiritual point of view, you realize this works because Krishna is there. One book distributor said to me, you can't lose because it's 3 against 1. I said, what do you mean 3 against 1? He said, look, in you, there's your Atma and the super soul. In the other person, there's their Atma and the super soul. Now that super soul, your super soul, and you want him to take the book. And only he doesn't want to take the book. So he goes, you can never lose because it's always 3 against 1. Therefore, he said, if you tune in and you do it with sincerity, with purity, then you can't lose because Krishna is always there. So miraculous things happen on book distribution which show you that Krishna is right there. Krishna is so present. And every book distributor can tell you so many stories, so many miraculous things that happened, so many things that you can't explain just by some material explanation. It's just inexplicable. Like some of you have heard me tell this story, but once I was in Leicester and I got 20 missed calls on my phone from one number, 20. So I was thinking, who is this person trying to call me 20 times? So I called the number back and the person didn't answer the call. So I thought, my God, they called me 20 times, it must be important. So what I did is I saved that number in my phone book as A, the first number in my phone book, and I thought I'll ring a couple of hours later, find out who it was. Anyway, I didn't ring back a couple of hours later, and 1 year passed. And that number was still in my phone book, but I never called it. Then, 1 year later, I was getting ready to go out on book distribution, and as I was moving my phone, I accidentally dialed that number. So I was looking at that number thinking, A? Who's A? And then I remembered, 1 year back. And I listened and it was ringing. So I thought, but that was 1 year back. That's gone. That story is finished. So then I just put the phone down. That day, I went out on book distribution to a town I've never been to before called Banbury, near Oxford. Halfway through the day, I stopped one person and he's super interested. So he says, I want to take one of every single book. So he takes about 8 books. Gives me a donation. And then he walks away. And then he comes back and he says, it's funny I should meet you today because this morning a Hare Krishna phoned me. So I said, who is it? Maybe I know them. So he said, I don't know. He said, then he pulls out his phone, he goes through, and he says, Sutapa. That was my name before. He says, do you know who? I said, that's me. He says, what are you talking about? And then I remembered. So I pulled my phone out and I said, hang on, is your number 078 da da da? He goes, how do you know my number? I said, how did you get my number? I said, you're the guy I called this morning. He said, why did you call me? I said, because you called me 1 year ago. He said, oh, you're the guy I called 1 year ago? Yeah. He said, I knew someone who knew you and I wanted these books and they told me to call you and I'd be able to get the books. But you didn't pick up the phone. I said, yeah, you didn't pick up the phone either. And 1 year later, I randomly called that person, and out of all the millions of people in this country, I meet that very same person. How's that possible? Because Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Krishna is the master of all mystics, and Krishna can do anything. So all these things happen, and then you just begin to think like, you just develop this confidence in Krishna, that Krishna is there. And then this confidence that you get, it just goes into every other thing you do in your life. Then you can go out and you can take any risk for Krishna. You can take any decision for Krishna. You can take on any difficult task because you know Krishna is there. Krishna will help me. And in this way your life becomes so magical because you develop confidence in Krishna. The reason we don't have confidence in ourselves is because we don't have confidence in Krishna. But when you have confidence in Krishna, you can have full confidence in yourself because you know Krishna is behind me. So you learn how to communicate, you learn how to be confident. On Sankirtan, you also learn how to be compassionate. You see, we get locked into the small world of I, me, and mine. And my problems, and my life, and my decisions, and my complexities, and my. It's a very small world. But when you go out and you try to help others, when you try and go out and you try to be kind, then life becomes very, very beautiful. Because you learn compassion. When you have compassion, when you go out, you realize that Krishna has given you so much in your life. Sometimes we look at our lives and we're not actually grateful for everything that we've received. They say the basic problem in most people's lives is that they undervalue what they have and they overvalue what they don't have. That's basically all of us. But when you go out on the street and you speak to everyone out there, then when you look at your own life, you realize, oh my God, I've been given everything. Today we were in Kettering, and the whole day I was standing in front of this big issue lady. She was from Albania. She was very nice person. She was in the cold the whole day selling big issue. So at one point I just went up to her and I spoke to her and I tried to understand her story, her life. What brought her to Kettering town centre to stand in a cold street for 6 hours a day selling the big issue? So she told me her whole story about her war-torn country, about all her family members that had died, about how she had come to the UK, as a refugee, where she was living, all the struggles that she was going through. I I asked her, what are your hopes for the future? Where do you see, because she was young, she was like 20. I was like, where do you see your life going? It's such a difficult life, so much struggle. We think our problems are so bad. We think our life is so difficult. But when you go out and you try to be compassionate to others, then when you begin to look at your own life, you think, I've got everything in my life and I still complain. And I still want more. Still get frustrated by small things. And the reason why we become so small and frustrated and complaining is because we only stay in our small life. But the moment you break out of this small life and you try to be kind to others, then your appreciation of your own life expands. So it's such a beautiful thing to go out, you know. You realize how being connected to Krishna consciousness just makes your life beautiful. When we would go out on the marathon, nowadays I'm doing much shorter hours, but before, when I was young, we used to do much longer hours. So we would be the first people on the street, you know, by like 8 o'clock in the morning, before even the shops opened, we would be there. And we would be the last people that left the street, like once all the shops had closed, you know, sometimes 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. And it was amazing, because what would happen at a certain time on the street is that the whole scene of the street would change. At about 8 o'clock, when all the shops would close, then all the shoppers and all the tourists and everyone would just leave. The shops would close, and then what would happen is all the homeless people would come in, and they'd all take a different shop under which to sleep for that night. And the whole scene would change. And you saw two different worlds, and you think like, my God, this is how people have to live. So when you go out and you speak to people, you see what's going on in the world, it's really a reality check. And that compassionate, that kind activity of coming out of our own life and connecting with people, it transforms our vision of our own struggles. So when you go on Sankirtan, you learn compassion. And the final thing I'd say is, when you go out on Sankirtan, you distribute books. Another great life skill that you learn is commitment. Most people in their life, they only achieve 5 or 10% of what they can achieve because they give up too easily. As soon as there's a difficulty, as soon as there's an obstacle, as soon as there's some negative comment, as soon as there's some disagreement, then they give up. And therefore most people only achieve 5 or 10% of what they can achieve in their life because they don't have commitment. But on book distribution, you learn to be committed. You have to learn how to take a no in style. Because every other person, or if not every single person sometimes, is telling you no. No, no. Do you have time? No. Do you want to give a donation? No. Are you interested? No. Have a good day? No. Everything is no. Right? And every time someone says a no, you just have to take it in style and just go to the next person with just as much enthusiasm. So when the Sankirtan leader, he told me this, gave me this piece of advice. He said, the art of Sankirtan is to learn to take a no in style. And I thought, that doesn't sound very inspiring. Later on I realized that's the art of life. Because you know, in your life, you'll try for something and Krishna will say no. And then you'll try for something else and Krishna will say no. And then you'll try in a relationship and Krishna will say no. And then you'll try to get that job and Krishna will say no. But the person who knows how to take a no in style and just continue on and be committed, that person gets through all of those no's and then ultimately finds that great yes that Krishna has in store for us. So on book distribution, you learn to be committed, you learn not to get deflated, you learn not to give up, you learn to keep going even when nothing is happening. And this skill is very, very powerful. This quality is amazing. It's such a beautiful thing to be committed in this way. And if you're not committed to Krishna, if you're not committed to trying to achieve something amazing spiritually in your life, then ultimately you'll be committed to something else. But that other thing won't give you much, won't give you much benefit. So like this, Sankirtan, book distribution is the school of life. If you want to live an amazing life, learn to communicate, connect deeply with people. If you want to learn and have a beautiful life, learn to have confidence in Krishna, that Krishna can do anything. If you want to have a beautiful life, become compassionate. Come out of the small world of I, me and mine and try to serve others. And watch how it transforms the vision of your own life. And if you want to have a beautiful life, then beautiful life means commitment, committed life. And all these skills you learn while out on book distribution. So come out tomorrow, 10 o'clock, is it? 10 o'clock at the bull ring to learn communication, compassion, confidence, and commitment. Because if someone has these qualities, they can perfect Krishna consciousness. Many people will come to Krishna consciousness, but how many people will actually really experience Krishna consciousness? It requires some quality of practice. It requires some depth of character. And experiences like going out on book distribution can help you to develop that character. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. These were some thoughts. Do we have time for question and answer? If anyone would like to ask any questions or would like to know anything more in detail, and we have a little bit of time. If anyone would like to ask anything. Yeah.
At the beginning you talked about Sharanagati, surrender. And from what you described, part of that seems like acceptance as well.
Mm.
Accepting. What are your thoughts on? Because sometimes we think of surrender as, lie on the floor, surrender, like, or raise both hands and give up. But sometimes it's like just, from what you described, it felt like just accepting.
Yeah. Surrender means no resistance. Every day Krishna is arranging things in our life. Every day Krishna is giving indications through the books, through the devotees, what we should be doing, where we should be going. Every day Krishna is orchestrating so many plans. So the surrendered devotee is awake. But they're not just awake to everything that Krishna is arranging, they're also very, very accepting. And they go with Krishna's plan. So that's not so easy, because we always think we have a better plan than Krishna. We always think we're ahead of the game. We're ahead of Krishna. So the surrendered devotee knows, I have my plans, but Krishna's plan is always better. So when all is said and done, after I've tried to execute my plan, if Krishna moves it in another direction, let me go, let me walk with that plan. Vraja means Vrindavan, but the etymology of Vraja, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, is to walk. So Vraja or Vrajabasis, the residents of Vrindavan, they're always walking with Krishna. They're always walking with Krishna's plan. They're fearless, flexible, fully available to whatever Krishna may arrange in their life. And that's the sign of a surrendered devotee. So surrender means no resistance, no frustration, to fully embrace whatever life may bring, knowing that Krishna is the supreme controller and Krishna is the supreme friend. So you can never understand what Krishna is doing in your life. If you're trying to figure it out, just don't. Even Bhishma Dev said, like, looks at the Pandavas and he says, like, how? No one can understand Krishna's plan. Muyanti kavayopihi. Even you be a kavi, you be a philosopher, you'll be completely bewildered. But the only thing you can have is love for Krishna. And if you love Krishna, you actually don't need to know what Krishna is doing. Because when you love someone, you have so much confidence in them that your intellect doesn't need anything else. It's just like, no, this person loves me. Obviously what they're doing is beautiful. So the one who's actually internalized knowledge, they have love for Krishna, and because they have love, they can accept whatever Krishna. I have no idea what Krishna is doing, but it's okay, because Krishna is so kind. So therefore, definitely, it's for my well-being. So let me walk. It's an adventure. Let's do it. Fearless. Abhay Charanaravinda. Fearless, having taken shelter at Krishna's lotus feet. So that's how you can be surrendered. There's no fear. Krishna's got your back.
Maharaj, I've got a question. You said you can read people and understand what they need, what their desires are. So Prabhupada's written a whole library of books. How do you know which book is suitable for that person to offer them?
Of course, we have more introductory books, and then we have more complex books. So generally with everyone, we're starting with the more introductory books. Ask questions, see what they're interested in. Ultimately, every single one of Srila Prabhupada's books are powerful. So in one sense, just being connected with Prabhupada's words, whether it's the perfection of yoga, or whether it's, chant and be happy, or whatever it may be, it's all great benefit. But yeah, speak to the person, see what they're interested in, and try to pick one of the books which is directly addressing something that that person is thinking about or interested in. But that means we have to know the books. And most of the time sometimes we distribute the books we haven't even read. So it's definitely good if you can read the books, and then you will be able to understand. But remember, we're speaking to people for short time, so we may not be able to fully grasp everything. But the art of book distribution is to show how everything they're looking for in their life can be found here. If you can make that connection, then you've done your job. So therefore you have to ask them, who are you? What are you about? What are you looking for? What's on your mind? What problems do you have? And then you have to show them how, by reading this book, it's going to address that. You have to speak in a relevant way.
Maharaj,
Yeah.
2 questions. Number one, how do we see Krishna's hand when we've distributed 0 books? And second question is, someone recently told me that they lied during book distribution. They said they've read all the books and that's how they distributed. How do we see that? How do we analyze that?
So how do you see Krishna's hand when you distribute 0 books?
Throughout the day, it happens sometimes.
It's Krishna's mercy.
How?
Well, the first thing is, remember Srila Prabhupada, who was also walking around in Delhi, in the Delhi heat. I don't know if any of you have been to Delhi, Connaught Place. Right, that's where all the cafes are, and all. Prabhupada would go there all alone in torn dhoti and would sit next to people trying to distribute. And some days he came back empty-handed, nothing. So, when you distribute 0 books, you're in parampara. Because even Prabhupada was. But what does Krishna say in the Gita? Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhur mate sangosto karmani. Krishna says you should be attached to doing your duty, but not to the results of the activity. Isn't it? Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labha jayo jayo. Krishna says happiness or distress, victory or defeat, fame or infamy, just carry on. So sometimes Krishna will humble you. Prabhupada said Krishna tested me in 2 ways in my life. First, Krishna took away everything, and then Krishna gave me everything. But Prabhupada was the same in both. So, yeah, sometimes Krishna will also give you a tough day. But that's good. But it's never 0. Because if you took a no in style and you smiled and you left people with a good impression, it's not 0. Because what will happen is all of those 100 people that said no to you, the next time they meet a book distributor, they'll probably be able to say yes. So sometimes you're the one who has to get all the no's, and your partner's the one who gets all the second time round ones who have already said no once, and he gets all the yeses. So it's like that. It's not about results. Who are we? We're all small anyway. If you do 0, 1, 10, 100, it's all small in one sense, and it's all big in another sense. Everyone's big and everyone's small. But we create all this. And we should not lie, just be honest. All you have to do on book distribution is be honest. You don't have to be a pure devotee. You don't have to be 1,000,008, Paramahamsa. Just be yourself. And just tell them, how has it benefited you? Why are you doing it? Obviously it's done something for your life, otherwise why in the world would you be out here on the street, standing here, trying to convince me? So just tell me, what is it that inspires you? And there's nothing more powerful than just being honest. So just connect with people. Yeah, it's all about connection. I told you that story, right? I was with one distributor in Liverpool, so we're distributing Krishna books. So he stops one Liverpudlian young boy, and then he's telling him about the Krishna book. He's like, this is like Harry Potter. It's like the spiritual version. So he did a really good pitch, So the guy was like, yeah, I'm totally into this. Like, this is amazing. So he goes, okay, it's the book. So he goes, no. He says, but you're into this. He goes, yeah. but this guy's blue. And I'm a Liverpool fan. Because blue means Everton. So the book distributor, you know what he did? He opened he goes, no. He opens the Krishna book, and then he goes to the Dasa Avatar picture, and then he shows him Varahadev. And he says, no, this blue Krishna, he comes in a reddish form, and as in the reddish form, he plays football with the universe. So he goes, God, red, football with the universe? That sounds like my kind of God, you know, like, yeah, okay, I love it. I was like, wow, that was impressive. So just connect. There's no lies. We don't need to do, just connect with people. But yes, it's hard sometimes. You're just not connecting. Then you pray to Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I just want to share, with your permission, today miracle that happened to us.
Okay, yeah, a miracle that happened to you? Yeah.
So we were distributing books for 1 hour, me and Abhay Prabhu. So before coming here.
In town center?
In Solihull, yeah. So no one came. We gave one book, and I was just wondering, so why no one today? So I prayed Prabhupada, why don't you want to give a message to anyone today? And we got like so many people, like we sold like 3 guitars and 1 SSR. And more than that, that Sakshi Mataji, she took book and she's here today.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
She just
Thank
from
you
there,
so
she
much.
came with us.
Okay.
And one miracle happened to me also today. Actually, I was in Atwood and I'm studying there. So I was just coming with my friends and they were saying just, okay, let's come with us to one party. We will go to one party. And I said, okay, we will come. And then after some time, I just thought that I don't want to go. And then I said, okay, I'm going home. And I was going to Sainsbury to buy some grocery. And then I met there. And I said, oh my God. God's mercy. Thank God. I was thinking.
He sent you to another party.
Yes. Krishna says, my lovely daughter, go to Sankirtan.
Yeah, that's what we bought. I said Friday party. Yeah.
So it's not numbers, you see. You just meet. They were there. Shakshi, right?
Yeah.
Shakshi was there. They were thinking, oh, what did we do? The whole 1 hour we out here, no books. But then someone gets connected. That's amazing. So, Srila Prabhupada, he said, there are people out there, they're just waiting. They're just waiting to meet a book distributor. So we have to be out there. And nowadays in our movement, it's very nice. We do a lot of types of preaching. We do like, we're online, we're in the e-world, we're in the underworld. We're in all the different worlds, but it's good to be on the ground as well, where people can see us. It's also very nice to just be out there and just meet people. I tell you, when I was 12, I grew up in Wembley. I had to take therapy for that later. And I remember being in Barclays Bank with my dad, and it was a winter day, and I looked out of the window and I saw 2 book distributors. They were in Saffron on Wembley High Road. They were distributing books. So my dad was doing something at the cashier. So I was sitting in the Barclays just watching them from the street. I didn't really know who are they, what are they. I saw these are 2 monks, they're trying to give out. Anyway, they were getting rejected left, right, and center. And in that moment, I remember this moment so clearly. I looked at them and I said, these people are saints. Who would do this? Who would go out in the cold trying to tell people about God? And I remember saying to Krishna, and I wasn't even praying to Krishna really. Of course I knew Krishna, but I was kind of. And I looked at them and I said, in my life, I pray I will be able to do something for the people just like they are doing. Anyway, that was a dangerous prayer. I remember it to this day. The first time I saw book distributors, that time, I remember it so vividly, and the first time I ever saw Harinam. I was in Amsterdam, as a kid, not like, you know. I remember 13 or 14 years old, and I remember seeing a Harinam for the first time in Amsterdam, and now I go to Amsterdam regularly. And even to this day, I can remember the exact spot where I saw the devotees on Harinam. So just by being out there, Narottam, he says, Darshana Pavitra Koro Eto Margun. Of course, we may not say I'm the great Vaishnava, but just by seeing devotees is changing people's fortunes. So it's such a beautiful thing. You never know who's just going to get connected. So yeah, thank you for doing what you do,
I have a
being
question.
out there. You
Question.
have a question? Okay.
So regarding debate, right, you said, so basically now the other faith devotees, so they're coming very intelligently. So they're not actually cursing us, they're coming like inquisitively, like they want to know.
Someone's coming to you on the street who wants to know.
Yeah, and they spend like hours or maybe minutes.
Oh,
They don't
debating
go-
you.
They don't debate. If debate, we can understand the debating, we can come out. So they show like so much of interest.
Oh,
And
okay.
finally they turn into there is only one God. Then after like half an hour they turn into debate. First half an hour they are wasting our time.
Oh, you're saying they're from another religion, they're basically trying to convert you.
Yeah. So they basically spend like half an hour time just discussing, like we feel like they're very interested. We spend like half an hour time. And
Oh, like that.
then they turn into, oh, there is only one God. You know,
Oh,
all
okay,
nonsense.
see.
So how do we...
Well, the first thing is nowadays I when I see people from other religions, I kind of appreciate it. It's nice, you know. I think it's nice that they're out there. But yeah, but that's why over time you'll become more, you'll understand immediately. Like when you meet someone who's more trying to do Sankirtan on you. Clued up, yeah, you become clued up. And then you just be very nice, be very calm. I met a Christian lady today and she said, you know, I just said, you pray for me. Please pray for me that I get some love of God. She said, you want love of God? I said, I want love of God. She said, you pray for me? I said, yes, I'll pray for you. One time I was in Kettering, and anyway, I had the same experience. One Christian person stopped me. Anyway, then they were like, you know, trying to, so I said, just give me can you give me a Bible? They said, you want a Bible? I said, yes. So then he went and he got me a Bible. And then he was very happy. So then he walked off. Anyway, so I had the Gita, the SSR, and then I had a Bible. And then I stopped the next person. And the person goes, no, I'm not into this, I'm a Christian. I said, yeah, here you go. Yeah? Very next person. And he was flabbergasted, like, oh my God, oh, sorry, I thought you were someone else. I said, no, this is spiritual knowledge. I said, you give a donation. Anyway, then he gave very generous, and then I said, and by the way, gave another higher taste and a few none. It's nice. What can we say? The Christians are our brothers and sisters. The Muslims are our brothers and sisters. Sometimes they're a little bit, it's difficult. Many of them are nice. Some of them are a bit aggressive. What can we say? Everyone is approaching God, trying in their own way. So just be kind, just be nice. No debates. Move on. Wish them well. Yeah.
Just
just on that point, Maharaj, just a reflection from book distribution maybe a few years ago. I went with Rasaraj and Mayapur in Birmingham around this time, and there were preachers from Islam a little bit down on the left, and there was one man, he was walking past, he was a Muslim man, and Rasaraj, being Rasaraj, went to this guy and said, he's not the right guy, he's not the one. And he straight away goes, can't you see me? I'm Muslim, I don't want your book. He walked away and Rasaraj just said, have a good day. And it's what you've just said. That Muslim man came back, apologised and took the book.
Wow.
So again, just being kind,
Yeah.
I think. And it just showed me as well, anyone, doesn't matter what faith or what background, Krishna will reveal himself to anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I share something?
Yeah, of course, go.
Just to inspire some possibility, because I like what you said, and I like what you said about the phone call and everything. That inspires me. Many years ago, my dad gave his nephew, Kaushal, a Bhagavad Gita before he was going to university, in the hope that he would read it. He didn't read it, he left it on his shelf, but as it happened, he gave it to his flatmates, and they joined the Hare Krishna temple in Scotland, and then became the biggest distributors, book distributors in the north, the husband and wife. Fast forward 20 years later, I meet a woman at the Brighton Rath Yatra, and she's saying, oh, where are you from? And I said, Coventry. And she said, oh, Coventry. Oh, I had a flatmate, and he gave me first Bhagavad Gita. And I was like, I'm in your story. Because my dad gave him that Bhagavad Gita, because it was the same person.
Wow.
And so you just don't know. It's just that mad, like you said, Krishna is so mystical. You just don't know what is the knock-on effect. Yeah.
So yeah, let us go out, let us come face to face with Krishna. And it's not easy. I know, some of you may feel it's not me, it's not my personality. I also felt the same. Even to this day, it's not easy. Now I've been doing it over 20 years. Even in the morning, I'm like, I don't know if I want to go out today. But once you're out there, it's very beautiful. And Srila Prabhupada is very pleased. Just remember, when it feels a little difficult, that Srila Prabhupada was in New York in 1965, all alone, in the coldest recorded winter in American history. In the Lower East Side, the Skid Row, the lowest place. And there Prabhupada was, trying to give the message. And then when you're out there, you feel like, yes, Srila Prabhupada is with me. So, be brave, be bold, be in the bull ring. And watch the magic happen. Yes, there we have Sankirtan devotee.
I have two miracles experience. So last year we are going to went India, and there's a flight time. So there was one couple. They were looking at us. I don't know, but we were chanting, and we have a big bag. We have a stop in Delhi. They are coming also to Ahmedabad because I'm from Ahmedabad. So they also came to Ahmedabad as well. But after 3 months, we went to the West Bromwich, and we were doing book distribution there and Harinam Sankirtan. And the couple came and said, "Oh, we know you guys." I said, "How?" Because we don't know you, So, "Oh, did you go to the Ahmedabad this December?" Then I say, "Yes." So, "Okay, we have seen you in the airport and the plane in the Delhi and Ahmedabad as well." And they were Gujarati as well, Swaminarayan, Sundara, something following. But then we distribute the book, Bhagavad Gita. So this is the miracle happens
They just remembered you from the airport.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And one of the book distribution is amazing. Like you can experience so many things. So one of the I realized that like a brother and sister love. Like the one girl with mom, and the girl was so desperate to buy the books for like her brother as a gift, and mom said no, I don't want to give the money or anything. But then I just somehow tried to tell the mother, like, your daughter is so enthusiastic to give the nice spiritual books as a gift to her brother, so it's very nice. And then eventually she gave the £10. But I was just seeing like how the relationships connected, like the God is connected. These relationships in a strong way as well.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing experience. I know it's we heard so many times no, but if one experience we achieved, like if one person buy any book, like we get the happiness, like from inside, because in their benefit, in their life, like as a spirituality, they growing up with that things in their life. So it's very nice. Like even we tried so hard, like we tried for 12 months like that way, so many times rejection and everything. But when we see the like very positive experience, then we feel so happiness, like Prabhupada has made such a nice this movement for every living entities, like And I was young, like I was maybe 21, 22, and I saw there's two children, they were putting tilak in my next flat in Gujarat. So I always wondered why they put the tilak, But I didn't know, I was just always watching them. I never asked anything, nothing. Even I used to go to ISKCON temple, I didn't know anything why they're putting tilak. In book distribution month, one brahmachari wanted to give me the Bhagavad Gita book. That time I didn't take it. But now I'm doing the distribution business. So I'm just so merciful, like Krishna's arranging such a nice way to distributing books. It's an amazing experience in the life. We never know when people are connected to the Krishna. We never know how we are connecting.
Nice. So thank you, everyone. Yeah, so we'll be out tomorrow. Even if you can come for half an hour, or the whole day. We're 10 to 4, is it?
10 to 5.
10 to 5.
There is lunch at 1 o'clock, so hopefully that will entice some of you to come out. There's a big feast being cooked tomorrow. So please do come out. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Nice to be here with you all. Thank you for making it Friday.